Mabuhay, kapatids! My name is Stephanie.
And my name is Aimee, and welcome to the Babaylan Bruja Book Club podcast.
We have come together in efforts to decolonize our minds, our bodies, and reconnect with spirit by ways of relation via conversation, of education, interpretation, and integration.
So, this is our invitation for you to join us on our journey as we discuss works from honored artists, authors, and thought leaders from the Filipinx diaspora. Quick disclaimer: we want to acknowledge that everyone is consciously where they need to be.
And we are not experts, but we are sharing our own unique lived experiences. Hi, sis.
Hi, sis.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, Babaylan Brujas.
Babaylan Bruja community.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Say something. Okay.
No, I wasn't. I'm ready. Let's get some grounding. Okay.
I'm with it.
Okay. All right. So, as always, before we begin, we want to take a moment to ground. So, if it is safe for you, I invite you to close your eyes, straighten your spine, and take a few deep breaths. If you are driving, I encourage you to take a mindful moment and realize where you are. Take a look at the sky, feel yourself on your seat. Wherever you are, I invite you to come into the present moment and take some deep cleansing breaths. Connect back into your body and into this moment. Whatever you've been going through, whatever you've been walking through, bring some peace to that. Connect to your body and bring gratitude for what it's brought you through today and this whole entire lifetime. And as we begin our conversation, as always, we'd like to thank Bathala, Source, God for another beautiful day and for you. And in gratitude, we acknowledge our benevolent ancestors and guides and invite them into the conversation today. Much respect to the ancestors of the land Stephanie and I reside on. We acknowledge you, knowing we cannot do our own remembrance without remembering you as well. For myself, that is the Shawnee, Miami, Hopewell, and Adena people in Ohio. For Stephanie, that is the Bay, Miwok, Yokot people in the Inland Bay area of California. We also acknowledge and invite in our guides and source to be with us to support and guide our conversation. We pray that they may support and guide you too. With gratitude, we also acknowledge your presence, Kapwa, your energy and light, no matter wherever and whenever you're tuning in. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, sis.
Of course.
Very grounding.
Of course. All right.
So this is the segment where we go into decolonizing heart check. Do you want to do rock, paper, scissors, or we'll just dive in?
Yeah.
I think you should go first today.
You think I should go first?
Okay. Yeah, because mine's a little special.
Oh, is it?
It's different. It's just different. See that?
Okay. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I have guava leaves. Okay.
Let me put my timer on for you.
Turn your timer on.
90 seconds, right? So it's 1 minute and 30. Isn't that funny how we can't do 90 seconds on the phone? Okay. Ready, set, Sorry for my dog. Go.
Okay, so the thing that has been on my heart this past week or few weeks, as far as decolonization, has been about like success and productivity. So, as you know, I have a container coming up, and I've got people are coming, but I keep comparing it to my last couple containers, right? And like the numbers game. And so like I don't like that I do that. And I'm realizing that's capitalism. That's capitalism in me. Like bigger, 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 bigger. The numbers need to be bigger. More. But why? What is numbers? What like why is numbers success, right? And I also acknowledge that it's like social media, right? Because we're in a time where there are likes, there are views, there are, there's statistics, so many fucking statistics and analytics that you can look at, right? For success. Like literally, that's why you do it, the analytics and the numbers, so that you can be quote unquote successful, right? And so I'm really trying to decolonize my idea of success when it comes to like being even on social media. So boom. 90 seconds.
Boom. That was great, sis.
Woo!
Hearing that. Yeah.
That's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. And I mean, we've kind of touched about it. It's really quality over quantity. So
yeah.
Want to bring that back, whatever socialist it might sound, but it's if you're touching at least one person,
I know,
it's one person. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, why are you worried about that? Because that's not even me at all. Like if somebody was in front of, like, no matter who was going to be in front of my face, like however many people, like I would be so glad that they came, and I'm gonna look them in the eye. And so I'm like, okay. Like if it's okay.
That's
right.
Inspiration. So yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you. Well, thank you for listening and witnessing me in my decolonization heart check. Okay, you ready? Okay. This is a special one.
It's different.
And begin.
I wanted to talk about decolonizing heart check with the book today, the chapter. Ooh. So just a preliminary dive in. There was some language that bothered me a little bit, and it made me revisit the language we use with light and dark. We use white and black magic talk, and how white represents this purity, black represents this like evil dirtiness. And it bothers me, especially if, I date partners that have more melanin in their skin and have faced a lot of oppressive comments and derogatory comments because of the color of their skin, and as well as my brothers and my sisters who are like that as well. So, I just kind of wanted to call that out. When we read these books, even they can require some thinking about, so even I'm talking about page 114, 115, they talk about Putayan white good spirits and Utuman black spirits.
Yeah.
And how they're like black and white. And I didn't like that. I crossed out light and dark. So I prefer to use that language. Maybe there's better ones out there if anybody wants to drop a comment about it, but it didn't sit right with my heart about how our own Philippine ancestry, no matter what province, whether or not they're conscious about it, I guess being a Filipinx American, that how that can be wrapping it up. Did that go off?
It goes
okay.
I stopped it.
Just like I wanted to decolonize this binary concept of thinking of like dark evil and good as white and black. It's not just that. So I witnessed that in my grandmother's growing up. And then, already talking about coming to America and seeing the news and seeing black people or people of color incarcerated for because of systems of oppression that they don't
Right.
understand that are in
Yes.
place. So, anyways, that's the invitation to decolonize that
Yeah.
language.
And I think that's a great reminder. Like, even when we are engaging in texts that are supposed to be about decolonization, realizing that, okay, so this was written whenever, right? Maybe they didn't have this language right
Right.
now, and realizing we're always in the process of
Right.
learning. We're always in the
Right.
process of decolonization, right?
Mhm.
Because that's just that's the work. It's the cycle, right? You come back and you visit it. But I was going to say, light and dark. Sometimes I like to use high vibrational and low vibrational. I don't know. Not
Mm,
necessarily a good and bad thing, but just like okay, you feel a high frequency, and then there's low frequencies that you feel, because there are, those those
oh yeah.
energies and frequencies exist.
Yeah, and interestingly, and we'll move on from this. I know the tangents, but like if you're saying low vibrational, I think about psychic attacks,
Yeah.
and how they need loosh or like energy to feed off of because they're low energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something to consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, maybe the writer, whoever, they didn't mean no harm. Our grandmothers, they were families. It's just the exposure. So that's
Yeah, and I fully accept that when the next generation is decolonizing, they might look back on these podcasts and some of the things that we say, and be like, "Ooh, what them teachers talking about?"
yeah.
We don't use that language anymore.
We don't use that no more. Yeah.
Right, so, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what we have to accept, that there's
Yeah.
this process of healing, because decolonization is healing, right? There's always layers, there's always more stuff to heal from. There's always, like, the spiral.
The spiral.
The spiral.
That's interesting how consciousness keeps evolving because it's so infinite. So,
Yes,
anyways.
exactly. So we can't ever
Eh,
know, we can't even say that what we know right now is the thing to know. So,
Rumi is my favorite quote. I know enough to know I know nothing.
yeah.
So, anyways, yay. That's
Okay.
our decolonizing heart check. So we move on now
Awesome.
to Brown Cliff Notes, Brown Girl Cliff Notes.
Brown Girl Cliff Notes. Dun dun dun. Dun dun
So,
dun.
can't wait for Sis Amy to do some live music transitions.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I'm gonna do some live music transition, so somebody out there can be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and make a make an actual transition sound for them, because
look, we'll
that
be looking.
wasn't it.
You hear me? I'm in my mic. We will need a sound engineer really soon. Just saying.
Yeah. Like, do you also want to volunteer to help to help
Yeah,
the
because
collective?
right, and then going back to your like thoughts of rest and productivity. Like, listen, I mean, we just try to balance lives, and
Yeah.
obviously there's more we could be doing, and we're also like honoring how much we can be doing. So this is
Exactly.
where it does take a village to produce podcasts. And
Yeah, if you would like to be, like, you are already a part of our village, Babaylan Brujas. But
yes,
if you feel called,
if you feel called to be like, you know what, I got some time, I can hang out with us,
yeah, yeah,
hang out with us. We can get this going.
yeah.
So,
So that's our little
okay.
plug. We say that every week, sis. We're gonna
We will
say it every week.
manifest them eventually.
We're gonna say it every week until we get a sound engineer
Every
or something.
podcast. Anyways,
Someone's be like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and email them so they can stop saying it. I'm
so if you
tired.
heard this again and you're like, all right, this is the calling.
Yeah.
I'm calling. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Back to Brown Girl Cliff Notes.
Okay.
So this chapter was rich with information around the indigenous healers in the Panay.
I think it's Panay. No,
Isn't
Panay.
Panay like what we are?
Yeah, I feel it's Panay.
Panay.
Also, somebody needs to help us with our
Panay, is
pronunciation.
it Panay maybe? Panay, Tagalog. Look. Are you gonna go on Google and have
Yeah,
it
keep
pronounced?
reading and I'll
But
look it
is
up.
Google a white person? I'm just saying.
Oh, snap. Decolonize your Google searches. Decolonize your Google.
I mean, when I do my like GPS already, like, and it's on like the English, British, you know how they pronounce the street?
British. Yeah.
British. I'm like,
Hello, love.
hello, turn right. Um,
Okay, coming back.
Panay Highlands of the Western Visayas, written by trained ethnomusicologist Maria Christine Muyco. They bring us into a story collected by participant observation learnings of these Panay Bukidnon, the mountain people of Panay. So Panay Bukidnon. Maria spent 2 years in 2003, 2004 in the Panay Highlands, specifically inquiring the process of this community's types of healing rituals, always incorporating the Binanog, a dance practice that draws its inspiration from the local hawk eagle called banog. The ideological aspects in Panay, or Panay, healing always aim to achieve SIBOD, a mastery of structures and synchronizations that produce effectiveness, connectedness, and even transcendence. Through the Binanog dance, Maria first encountered the linkage between healing, movement, and spiritual interplay, and drew her attention to the synchronizations between healing and dancing and how each can realize a healer's intention of bringing harmony to the body spirit universe, otherwise known as kalibutan. You look like you're going to say something, sis.
Oh, I don't know.
You gonna play it for him?
I found like a Google thing.
Say it.
What? Panay.
No, Panay. No. That sounds like Hanai.
Panay. Okay, that's not it. Okay, please carry on.
Panay or something. Anyways, y'all's know our intentions.
Yes.
Through her work, Maria meets and speaks with the several traditional healers, also known as Suriano, the Dungan, the Ma'arams, the Babaylan. They included learning about how like young healer Menchi Diaz Caspillo stepped into her calling, Noning Lopez of Barangay Cabatangan in Lambunao, Iloilo, Violeta Damas from Barangay Tangkin, and an interview with Alfred Castor, who knew a family with 7 adult Babaylans.
Wow.
These interactions allowed Maria to discuss what defines a Serrano, as they do not choose to be a healer at will, because powerful spirits and forces actually select them. So Maria provides us with several vocabulary words. There's a lot of words in here, y'all.
Yeah.
That's nice. Probably it's all in italicized, so you can dive into it. Utilized by the Panay Bukidnon to give insight of their perspectives of life, from the origin of creation to the understandings of various spirit beings that exist and can be seen during times of like the night, how Babaylan moved while she sat in ritual, why and how supplication of the spirits was essential, and overall prosing the theme of indigenous ways for bridging body and spiritual constituents that bring about healing for those who are in need.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sis, for them brown girl cliff notes. I hope that is helpful for y'all out there.
You're welcome. This was a long chapter. It's like 20 pages. A lot of good information.
So. Yeah, a lot. But reread the chapter so you don't necessarily have to.
But you can if you want to.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So we go into vocab words and quotes from each of us. So I shall dive in. Like Steph said, it was nice. There was a lot of words. Sometimes in some of the chapters, there's like no words, like Tagalog or Filipino words to kind of dive into. But I wanted to highlight Panabi-tabi on page 111. So, it is prudent for Panay Bukidnon to inform the spirits that he or she will trespass a possibly spiritually occupied space, or for a person to ask the spirits to give way for him or her by saying "Panabi tabi," which means please allow us to pass by. As a precaution, this word is said preemptively as the person cannot see the spirits that may inhabit the space. Also, in a deeper sense, this continually connects them to the spirit world. So, Panabi tabi, I feel I haven't really heard that before. And so I was researching it. So that's like the more formal way of saying tabi tabi po. I don't know if you've yeah, tabi tabi
Ah.
po, right? So I've had, friends who've lived on in the Philippines, my Lola and stuff, like she would say, like, if you're passing a dark space, like in because we're from not the city, the province. So if you feel like you're like passing a dark space and you like feel something, tabi tabi po, just be like, I'm coming through. I respect you. I acknowledge your presence. Just passing through. Let me pass. We're good. So tabi tabi po. Please allow us to pass by.
That's in. I didn't really tabi tabi. It sounds like tabo tabo a little bit,
Tabo
but
tabo, yeah.
we. I was just like, excuse me, po. That's
Yeah.
it. That's a colonized AF, right? This is good to come back to.
Yeah, well, I think this is like specifically for spirits, spiritual, like, because the way I understood it from people from, the motherland is that it's really something that happens when you're walking at night and you hear like a coconut fall in the forest. You know what I'm
Oh.
saying? And you're like, oh, then when you feel a frequency, speaking of frequencies, whether high or low,
Mm-hmm.
then you feel it. And then so you're just like tabi tabi po, and you just keep walking. You don't like acknowledge it. You don't go, hello, is
Yeah.
anyone there? You just
Yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. My auntie would say that 'cause I think she sees. So
Mm.
she was like, yeah, if you talk to the spirits, they'll follow you. They'll engage. So
So tabi tabi po, meaning, okay, I acknowledge you and I'm just passing through. So don't, like, we're cool.
I don't want no harm.
Yeah.
There's no funk over here.
Yeah.
No beef,
Yeah.
no pork.
We good. I know you're there. You know I'm here, but tabi tabi po.
Tabi tabi po.
Yeah.
Panabi tabi. Panabi tabi. I'm gonna remember that.
Panabi
Oh,
tabi.
girl, yeah. I feel like the Philippines always has like these like spirits. I'm everywhere. Like, dang. My
Yeah,
God.
well, we believed in anitos. We believed in there's like even in this
Yo.
chapter they were talking about duende, like the little spirit
Duende.
people, like
Yeah. Tama wa ayo.
yeah. What do you think?
Encanto.
Let's go on a tangent right quick. What do
Okay.
you how do you okay, so I acknowledge that there are spirits and that there are lower vibrational energies. And I'm also like, why are they all hanging out in the Philippines? You know what
I
I'm saying?
know. I think it's because maybe our peoples need to be called to transcend that. Probably
Maybe.
a lot of unsettled spirits because of all the years of colonization, all those pillaged and raped and like misunderstood, like,
Mm,
all the aswangs and stuff, just pissed.
yeah.
So it's kind of tough, especially if like this podcast is reaching Filipinx audience. Like, how can we show up in that space in the Philippines, especially if those Babaylan there are like tucked away or
Right.
they're not like. I mean, because all these stories coming from people who have been there, like it just seems like there's a lot of like spiritual energies there, and
Yeah.
Our peoples need help. Like we need some light workers to travel there and to like sit with the elders, and then like we all kind of like link together and like purify the land.
Mm.
I don't know, cuz yes, it's like I when I went right before the lockdown in 2020, I stayed with my aunt, and she lives like close to the airport. Um Dang, I remember the city, but all these words in my head right
Yeah.
now. Anyways, the neighborhood was like slums and then like nice houses. So it's like a mixture. It's like, and I remember my friend and I had jogged around the neighborhood, and like you can kind of feel the differences.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't walk around there at night. That's all I gotta say. Like,
Yeah, it's just it's a different world. Like, I just, like, so you learn about manifestation. It's like the things that you think about, that's the things you're going to see. Right. And so I even had that experience being in the evangelical church. Like I was part of, because I was still a whole ass bruja, even if I didn't know I was a whole ass bruja. Like I could see shit and sense shit, you know what I'm saying? So like I would be part of, like, what is that called? Like cleansing houses, or like deliverances of evil spirits or whatever. So I was trained to see those things because that's what I was always trying to look, so that I saw them. But now that I'm not in that necessarily, I don't see them as much. And if I do, I'm like, tabi tabi po. No, I'm not. I'm just like, okay. Remember when I was Marco Poloing you like
yeah,
yesterday, and I
I
saw
was gonna
something out
ask
the
you. That ringing in your ear. Mm,
yeah, and I saw something out the corner of my eye. I was like, excuse me,
not allowed. Like
you're not allowed here.
she was literally just talking to me still, and then being like talking like somebody had just came in her house, and she's like, you can't be here if you're negative. Okay, you're not allowed in this space.
Yeah.
So give me one more second. I'm gonna finish this conversation,
Yeah,
and then
I was
I'll
like,
address you.
I was like mad. I'm like, excuse me, but I'm talking to sis. I'm having a conversation, okay? No, no,
Allah,
but
tabi
oh,
tabi po.
sabi tabi po. But you know what I'm saying? So, but now, like, I don't really sense like evil spirits or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I hear these
Mm,
stories, and I'm not saying they're not true. Like respect to
right.
people's experiences, and like the spirits of the ancestral spirits of the motherland, that where we're from. But like, and I don't know if it's just because I'm Filipinx here in the diaspora here in America. Like I know we have two, like we just have such a different experience,
Right.
even spiritually. So I don't know if I don't want to come with ignorance as well, you
Right.
know and I don't want to go back home one day and just be fucking scared, right? Because I'm not scared. I understand my power, and I don't want to be
Mm.
pissing anybody off when I'm over there. Tabi tabi
Yeah,
po.
I know. Same. Same. I grew up with Momo like culture as a way to like discipline me. So
Yeah.
I think that deprogramming that has allowed me to be more brave to be in
Hmm.
space with spirits. I have felt like some psychic attacks in my sleep though lately, and it just speaks to
Yeah.
like me setting up more boundaries before I go into the astral. But yeah, they really do want loosh. That's all I have to say. Like I've woken up and like been like, oh my god, I feel like I'm being siphoned right now. So
Hmm.
um anyways, I'm probably gonna say tabi tabi po before I go to sleep now. I'm probably gonna include that in my nighttime.
Yeah, I was just thinking too, like sometimes, when I go hiking, I go by myself, and you just get deep in the woods, and sometimes you're like, I'm not alone. So I'm like, okay, I can say tabi tabi po. Like, even if it's a different language, like the essence is there, right? Like, so I
Yeah,
feel like energy, frequency will understand
yeah,
what I'm trying to say, instead of like fucking ignoring what I'm feeling, right? Or
yeah.
being afraid of what I'm feeling, just being like tabi tabi po. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to bother you. I'm just passing through.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also remembering you're divinely guided and protected.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a balance. Like understanding we're divinely guided and protected and that we do have like a certain power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that we can call our energy back, we can cleanse our energy. Like we're sovereign. We have
Yep.
sovereignty and we can set up
Sovereignty.
boundaries
Yep.
and understand. Yeah. So it's a whole conversation. So thank you for indulging.
On your on the tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
tabi
that's
tabi po.
tabi tabi po. So that's my that is
Yay.
my vocab and I am complete.
Okay. Completion. My word is on page 121. I kind of mentioned in the beginning. It's SIBOD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a form, it's a word, it's a form of linkage that is, it's on page 121 again. A form of linkage that is substantiated through the dancer's physical, acoustic, and affective manifestations in order to one, awaken the spirits aware of their ongoing social relationships with humans, two, call on spirits to facilitate healing and provide aid in the community's and individual's well being, three, bring the spirits to one's physicality so that dancing and music making can be more enriched and enriching. And four, create balance and harmony in the cosmos, including the physical spiritual world. This balance is crucial to the effectiveness of healing. So Sibud, when I read it, and also this chapter, it made me think of concerts. And I was like, can't wait to talk to sis about, your ministry days, but I feel that energy that Sibud when I'm in concerts, especially when even in church. I felt it in church sometimes, especially when I like really liked the song that was playing and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah.
that there's like a part where they say like once Sibud is accomplished, like the energy in the room is just yeah. It says here when Sibud happens, the whole atmosphere is charged with positive and ecstatic energies. And I think that that's
Mhm.
the goal of gatherings because essentially it's like if you're gathering and there's negative energy, then what's going on? It's worth something to explore. But I like this word. I think it was a tangible way of describing the feeling that you feel when you're in concerts. Like I've been missing island reggae concerts so much.
Yeah.
I think island reggae is like one of the few genres like has like the saddest lyrics, but it can be the happiest song because I don't know, I just love Hawaiian island reggae music. But anyways, like yeah, you got the choir harmonizing, you got people
Yeah.
dancing, we're praising life and being alive. And so
Wow.
um and then there's multiple bodies in the room that are feeling that same energy. So it's like kind of a way to like describe what happens, you know.
Wow. Yeah. So it's like, um, hold on.
Take your time.
Externally processing. So it's kind of like, okay, so if you said Sibud is kind of like being in a worship service at church, maybe that's why people want to go. They
Mm-hmm.
feel that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, for the Filipinx people, it's like a remembrance deep inside of something we used to ancestrally do. And like every culture has that, right? But for us
Right.
specifically, like maybe it's a remembrance of Sibod or whatever word it would be used in different provinces or whatever. So, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's a great word to like put a label or see what is what we try to accomplish. I want to throw a little curveball in there. I don't know if y'all's
Do it.
read about like Travis Scott's latest
Mm.
concert.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's quote unquote conspiracy about entities that were present that's why people died because
Mm-hmm.
while it's a gathering, everybody's there because they're a fan of his music, and so that positivity is reigning, right? Entities will come and feed off that shit. Think about Sailor Moon. Hello, remember when they went to go to the damn jewelry store and it was enchanted
Yeah. Oh
and they
my.
put it on and they get all weak and tired and then pass
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. That was wild.
Right? The whole theme of like Sailor Moon, especially like the first season, was to like siphon their energy. So, anywho, um, yeah, I think this is the further conversation around like, can we be aware of that when we're in these settings?
Mm.
And when you finish, remember sis, when you'd finish facilitating worship, you'd be tired.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference. What I'm getting a sense of is like being tired in terms of service and tired in terms of like feeling like your energy was taken from you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't have good spiritual boundaries. I didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
So I was drained because I
That's the
gave it
word.
all away, in the moment. And I
Boundary.
didn't call it back. I'm still calling it back. Every time I'm like, I call it back. I say from any corporation or institution or religious organization that's ever taken
Ooh.
anything from me. Clean and
Yeah.
clear and whole, come back.
Come back.
So that's interesting. So do you feel like SIBOD could be is something that's not necessarily like in the way that we're describing it? SIBOD could either be high frequency or low frequency. Like maybe SIBOD was happening at the concert that you were just talking about, right? But
Yeah.
it was like, so there was like something happening in the cosmos in between the physical spiritual world, but it wasn't necessarily for the highest good of everybody.
I'm going to be punny here. I think when it goes
You're,
respectfully, I think when it's like, si bud gone si bad.
that's
Right?
funny. Yeah.
I'm so tiny. No, but like honestly, like si bad is what happened at Travis Scott's concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably got into a good harmony tune. They're all like
Mhm.
bobbing, they know this jam, and then some people started fainting. Are you serious? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it was
hmm.
crazy.
So yeah, Sibud's gone si bad because the definition for Maria is, all about healing and well-being and balance. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like that was a definition of so bad.
Yeah.
Like maybe it just awakened a portal. I mean, they were talking about symbolism. Like if you looked at Travis Scott's like picture, like of
Yeah.
entering the crazy land or whatever it was, it's like a portal. But
Mhm.
it was like a guy's mouth, and
Mhm.
it's like they're eating you. So
So
take
it
or
was
toss. Okay.
Sibad. It wasn't Sibod.
So there's Sabud and there's Sabad. When it comes to gatherings,
Yeah.
choose wisely where you want to stay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel complete, sis.
Good. And I think that may be an invitation as well, um, to kind of tune in, like use the instrument of your body to tune in to what is happening in a space energetically and spiritually and see if
Mm-hmm.
it is Sabad or Sabad.
Bad, so bad. Um, I was finishing a grounding awareness practice earlier. I think it was Qigong. And the
Yeah.
teacher was saying a tool you can pull when you're in those situations is just connect to your breath, like we do when we
Yeah.
ground.
Hmm.
Because when we get, especially as highly sensitives, for those who feel really deeply or really sensitive to energy, the first thing that changes when you're not grounded is your breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
you know,
And so, yeah. All right. Well, cool. That is, thank you, sis, for that conversation around that vocabulary word.
yeah.
And since you are complete, I shall move on to quotes.
Okay.
This is from this is from page 108. And Maria talks about, she goes in and says, in unpacking this experience of healing and dance processes, I inquire into the dynamic of reciprocity and mutually reinforcing forces operating between dancing and curing. and
Mm.
how the synchronizations between them fulfill a healer's intention of bringing harmony to the kalibutan, or body spirit universe. I think we touched on this a little bit in the Brown Girl Cliff Notes. So bringing about this harmony not only heals the afflicted, among the Panay Bukidnon, it heals and cleanses the dancer and appeases the related spirits involved. That is, the definition of healing is more multidimensional and systemic. Through the dance, a gestalt emerges, and this completeness carries deep meaning for the participants and the community at large. And so I think she starts the chapter saying how well, basically she says how in the healing process the healer is also healed as well as the person seeking healing. And I know
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing my Reiki attunement, it was kind of presented that way as well. Like when you are connecting to the energy of the universe, the healing energy of the universe, it's flowing through you. So therefore you're also getting healed, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know, like off recording, we were talking about being in community and how we are made for community, right? And so I feel like this is another beautiful aspect of um of the healing that can happen in community, and also how, in our individual healing journeys, that it's not, even if we're not like dancing around and being SIBOD, or and intentionally doing that, like even if we're going to therapy, or if we're just like, journaling, like because we're better, it makes the collective better, because you're healing yourself, sis. It's healing me as well, like we just
Yeah.
get better together.
Yeah.
So, but so that it reminded me of that, and then it also kind of reminded me of embodiment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I think that's what she's kind of saying, is like, so the dancing and the energy, the sabod is embodiment. It's like embodying the energy of like your dance movements are healing. It is healing, right? It's healing people, but it's actual medicine, that's the word, right? So just to embody that healing and not have it just live in your head, right? Or in the ether where we, as highly sensitives, we feel it, but to take that and to like put it
Right.
into the instrument of our body, and like
Right.
use that as embodying the whole energy and to help others around. So
Yes.
um
Yes. I highlighted that quote too, and I wrote next to it. I was like, "This is why clubs be popping,"
listen, yeah.
because it says like Maria said, "I realize some dancers are healers," and I think that that's why I don't know. That's a different tangent why the church condemns dancing, but it's like if you're connecting the divine, you're dancing. That's why we love watching dancers too, because some of them move with such grace and medicine, whether it be
Yeah.
ballet, whether it be hula. I'm thinking about, why people pay to watch people dance. Everything about the stars, like Dancing with the Stars. Don't get me started. Filipinos love them some Dancing with the Stars. But it's just um, like there's medicine in dance, and
Yeah.
there's a release aspect, and then it's like a community gets to generate it. So it's almost like we're all plugging in to source. While speaking with the Panay Bukidnon, community, like that, they are doing it in a healing ritualistic way for somebody. It's like they're all kind of creating this energy, and then they
Yeah.
generate into this person or this community that needs it, which is fascinating because in modern times, that's why people go to the club, because they want to dance the troubles away,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
or like, yeah, again. So, and we know embodiment coaches, right? There's
Yeah.
medicine
Yeah.
in their practice of
Uh-huh.
bringing us back into our bodies and moving. So,
Yeah. that's that's one of the things that reminded me of too, like embodiment and like the healing that can come from that sort of embodiment that you do with an embodiment coach or whatever. Like it's deep. And it, I know for me, like I lived so much of my life in my head and
Mm,
in the astral or something, you know. And
yeah.
so to come back to tap all those energies in to my actual body is so integrating. That's what helps me integrate the healing. Like I can start here. That's usually where it starts, is my feelings and my emotions and like in the ether or in my head. But once I bring it to the body,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it gets integrated. So,
Yeah, to the body. And then you also reference back where you got that healing. So I think that's why people go back to church.
mm,
I even think about my sports teams. I know you're like, go sports,
go
sis,
sports.
but in the Bay, they're sports fanatics, like, especially when the Warriors, shout out to the Dub Nation, when we were at the Oracle Arena after the games, because every part of the nation has their own type of music,
Yeah.
but it just be especially special when after the game, especially after a win, there's a DJ out there and they're playing like Mac Dre and
Oh,
like Too
yeah.
Short, and so everybody's already in a good mood, and then they start dancing and gigging, and like it's over when they start playing Fizz Dance, because it's just like it's a recognition. It's like it's a good vibe. It's just a good vibe,
Good vibes. And again, that's why people go back to the club.
Yeah, or the
That's why
game.
do I'm gonna sound real old right quick. Do the kids still go clubbing? I don't know. Do the kids still go clubbing? Like that was big in my
Oh,
day, but like I don't know if it's just like a regional thing because my
oh, I
nephew,
know, because and the pandemic and shit. I know.
yeah. Well, my even before that, like my nephew, is from the younger generation. He just wants to chill. He just
Yeah,
rather just he won't necessarily want to go to a club. He just wants to like chill. So I don't know.
yeah. And I mean, essentially, when I observe from my own experience, is when we all get together and then there's music and then there's a song we all enjoy. You're all gonna end up dancing and singing, and it's just kind of like SIBOD. And
Yeah.
it's not whether we're not channeling the energy like to heal somebody or or community or whatever, we're still channeling good energy. And
Yeah.
it's in a way it's a sense of also belonging to a community and being around good energy. So that's why people, I think, form these sports teams and all this stuff, like, because it's
Oh
like
my God.
something that they want to cheer on. And that's why they go to church, because it's something they want to, like, find a safe space to release. And
Yeah.
so
I like that. I like that. Well, that was my quote and I feel complete.
great quote, sis.
Thanks.
So mine is on page 111, and it's funny because when I was reading it, I was like, okay, intuition. My intuition and I were like talking, and if y'all's been listening, so I've been having a chronic condition since 2008, and I think about the story of Menchi Diaz Caspio, because it says like she was 20 and she was initiated into the world of spiritual possession and eventually tasked with the mission to mediate between the worlds of physical and spiritual. It was a healing obligation. And she was sick for a long time and barely had the appetite to eat. Later, she realized that her sickness was part of becoming a healer, and she felt the presence of an intruding force coming inside her body. So when she resisted as well, it says she would feel the constriction of her heart, inexplicable pain. Each healer must go through ritual phases, initiations, and learning experience with an elder or seasoned guide healer. And when she finally accepted the healing task, that her health improved.
Hmm.
And to me, it was like, whoa, like I thought about like people who get sick um, or live with chronic ailments. Like,
Yeah.
is that a calling? And I think about just detached from like my own story, like, chronic conditions, they're from like DNA imbalances or misrights, right? And that's carried from ancestral stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, I'm like, whoa, like I was all getting all meta, like, is like DNA, like, it was her DNA, like telling her to activate, right? So when she accepted it, it improved. That
Wow.
was interesting, like
That's deep.
conversation with my intuition that happened. Huh?
I would say that's deep. Like the acceptance is like when the healing started.
Yeah, and I think for me lately, I've been sitting with like, what's purpose for me? And it
Mm.
always comes back to my health. It always comes back to like, are you in your body?
Mm.
So the message has been like, no matter where my creative like wants or desires go, it always comes back to health. And so I recognize too, when she was like, when she resisted, she feels more pain. So I think about everybody's like healing talents or healing gifts that they're not expressing, how much it hurts them more. So think about the folks
Mm.
out there that are depressed or anxious because they're not, again, take your toss, not living in their truth. And so when you actually live in your truth, then there's peace there, right? So
Mhm.
she was being called to be a healer. Someone is out there like working a 9 to 5 and they really want to be a film director or something, right? So imagine if my cat just came through the door. Did you hear that door open?
No.
Oh,
Your
little
cat
Bruno.
said tabi tabi po.
I know, right? Um, anyways, I'm just saying, like, imagine, like, I'm thinking, like, conceptually wise, if this person, individual, really accepted their truth or whatever their calling was, whether it be a
Yeah.
filmmaker, whether it
Yeah.
be some type of art, some type of be a doctor,
Yeah.
even, right? Um, would their health improve? So,
Ah.
I don't know if that like kind of makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes so much sense. Yeah.
So I brought it back obviously to me because my intuition was like, yeah, like, but I was like, well, which one? Because I feel multidimensional a lot, and I'm just like, well, which one? Like, do you want me to go writing or photography or health coaching? What is it? You know what I mean? So
Maybe
um,
it's yes, 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 but it's all about embodiment, like body, you know?
I really do think, and that does involve writing, but
Yeah.
that's my shit that I'm working through. But other than that, like I thought that was fascinating that Maria literally in the first paragraph was like, unlike doctors who decide on their medical profession, healers don't in the
Yeah.
Panay Bukidnon community. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you're chosen. Um, and sometimes as someone who lives with this stuff, like sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
why did I have to have this? Out of all everybody else in my family's like healthy.
Yeah.
So
Do you feel like that's what your intuition was speaking to you as well about, like trying to answer like why? And if
yeah,
that's too personal, you don't gotta answer. That feels
I mean, I think it just traces back to like truth. Like, what's your truth? What do I have to transcend? Even if I'm carrying this in my DNA, like, I've been doing like it's been a decade of like,
yeah.
okay, what does this mean? What does this flare up mean? What does
Yeah.
this organ that's being upset, like what does that mean? How does that tie to like, what I need to do to transcend whatever it is, right? So,
Yeah. And uh this used to dance hula,
oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I
interesting too.
We were talking about that, I think, the other day, and I was saying that I notice when I dance, I don't have much pain in my hips. And women, we carry a lot of emotion in our
Mm.
hips. So shake that sacral, girl,
Work
and
it.
and boys, and non-binary.
Everybody got hips. Everybody,
Everybody, guys, shake it.
no matter how you identify, you have hips.
Yeah. So this is an invitation. If
Yeah.
you feel pain in your hips, can you move it? And will you feel better after?
Mm.
So maybe you're being called to move your hips more, whether that medicine reaches people or not. I mean, it's just medicine for you. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
because
I'm
you can
just
heal
thinking
yourself, right? That's the ideal,
that's
right?
the ideal. Yeah. I'm just thinking about too. I don't know, just popped in my head about maybe like how does one move their hips if you can't, if they're like handy capable and you're like in a wheelchair and you can't move your hips? You know what I'm saying? I don't know the answer, but that scenario just popped in my head.
That's true.
So
That's assuming that you have the capability to do so.
yeah.
And there's stories out there, people coming forth and being like, yeah, I was in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, combined with plant medicine
Yeah.
therapy.
Oh, plant medicine. Yes. Come
There's a
on.
plant. I'm convinced there's a plant to cure every disease on this planet. But I digress. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm taking it slow. Obviously, consult with your doctor or yourself
Obviously.
or
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
But
Yeah. So off topic but on topic. So you know how, so in this particular paragraph, so the symptom, they talk about the symptoms that Menchie felt. She would feel cold, and in fact she would shiver and would kibang. So kibang, the definition is forcefully pound the ground with her feet in a rhythmic motion, which I think is like, just powerful. It makes me think of like New Zealand and the haka. You know, when they do, the warriors do the haka, they like pound the ground with their feet, right?
right.
But also it reminded me of my Lola, because whenever we would uh like, you know, she would like say something like crashed into something, she would say kibang, like, oh, sige, you kibang, or something. So it just reminded me. I'm
Sounds
like, okay,
adorable, by the way.
that's what she was talking about. She was talking about like something forceful, like a stomping, like a kibang, and I just heard it as bang, right? So bang, but that's why she said kibang. So that there's like there's something there's something happening. So
Mm.
anyway, that's just a side note. Kibang. I don't know
Kibang.
who other people's Lola said that.
Let us know.
Yeah, but that's beautiful, sis.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's the message I'm trying to convey is that
Mhm.
we're in pain and for a reason,
Mhm.
yeah, or we get ailments for a reason. Why do we like nap ministry? Shout to them again, but they say like, are you gonna rest when your body tells you to rest? You're gonna rest
Mhm.
because you need to rest. So
Mhm.
we don't rest or we don't listen to our calling, and we're gonna be in
Yeah.
sickness. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
mission.
I was just one last thing. I was, just scrolling through Instagram. One of the people that I follow, they were saying how like we're entering this age where it's not necessarily about learning with like words and intellect, because we have all the intellect that we ever need at the tips of our fingers, right? They were saying it's now about embodying the frequency, embodying like, so if the frequency of healing,
Yeah,
embody it, the
yeah,
frequency of
yeah.
joy, and like embody it. Don't just like study it in your brain. Like it's time to like come
Feel
out
it.
of our brains and get into our bodies, right? And so
Mhm.
that's what this chapter, and like even what you just said, kind of reminds me about, like, you know like, let's embody it, let's get into our bodies, let's kibang, let's like stomp our feet, let's like
Yeah.
get together and dance, let's get together and drum circle, let's get
Yes.
together and do kali or whatever, just
Yes.
like this communal movement with the intention of healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Intent. There's a difference between yeah, like studying it and moving with it, I guess. Like
Yeah, like,
applying it,
yeah,
integrating it.
yes, integrating.
Integrating is, I think, the lost step for a lot of folks who get frustrated with like, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing everything that I think I should be doing. But it's like you're thinking. You need to be maybe stop thinking. You know,
Yeah.
what would it feel like if you stopped thinking? You just
Yeah.
felt it more. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's a process. Be gentle.
It is. It do be a process. I
Yeah.
think the intention is definitely like moving with intention physically is definitely a thing. Like, because I used to go to the club and I love that shit. But like that, my intention wasn't to be healing. It was to like, whatever, party. So, but
Mine too, but in a way it's healing because you're having fun. You're releasing
yeah,
stress.
exactly. So,
Ooh, look what time we're ending here, sis. It's 3:33.
oh, okay. Okay.
Do you feel complete though?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So as we end our conversation and close out this container with gratitude, once again, we bring recognition and honor to our ancestors and all the ancestors of the lands we occupy. Thank you for joining our conversation today. And as always, I leave you with a blessing. May you be strong, brave, and in service to the communities you serve. May you be blessed with awareness and guidance from the spiritual world. May your valued ancestral character traits be with you. May community and Kapwa grow in your heart. And until we meet again, may you know that all is well and will be well. And no matter what happens, you are loved.
That one was good. I felt it. Did you feel it? I felt it. Okay.
Yay!